these kinds of skills will definitely serve you well, and could potentially save you lots of money. Hi everyone, this is Andrew at Plainview Farm. As many of you probably know, I consider myself to be somewhat of a repurposer of old things, a maker, you know, that kind of thing. Other people, they may call me a junk collector, scavenger, but we're not going to let that kind of negativity bother us. But one of the things that I've been needing to do for a while, but I've kind of been putting off, is to go through this old trailer right here and to pull off what's good and get rid of what's not. So this trailer here was actually, once upon a time, it was my mobile chicken coop, my egg mobile, I guess is what a lot of people might call it. But a 10 by 10 chicken house on a trailer that I would pull around out in the pasture. I've never used it here on this farm, but I did use it on the previous place that we had. I'm not going to use this trailer for that purpose anymore, because I've got a whole other plan, which is actually a whole other video for later on down the road. But anyway, so what I want to do is I want to get the good material, like I said before, off of this old trailer, kind of get it organized, because I always have plans. I've got the pickup here to throw the stuff in that I'm getting rid of. So I figure the easiest thing to do is just start with what's basically ready to just go on the back of the truck to get rid of. This old trailer has kind of become, I don't know, like a trash pile. Stuff that I've picked up out of the field, different junk has kind of just been thrown onto this trailer so that I could, I guess, maybe keep it all in one spot. I don't know. But I will tell you, I do have plans for the trailer here, and those plans are to actually make kind of a little work trailer, utility trailer, to pull around behind the Farmall Cub for working on fence, hauling, whatever, you know, just like I said, just a little trailer to, you know, do little things that I need to do. Nothing too crazy. And of course, because I never throw away lumber materials, I've got all kinds of stuff here that I'm gonna need to stack up. Now, one of the problems that I run into are problems like this right here. What I'm holding here is a 2x2, basically. It's a 2x4 that's been ripped in half, and it's only about 2 foot long. So I'm not sure if I should toss it or keep it for something, because you never know when you're gonna need a 2 foot long 2x2. You know, you hear people talk about toxic traits. Well, that is definitely one of mine. Have a hard time letting go of stuff like this. We'll set it right here. Approach that issue later. And just to prove to you how much of a hoarder I am, I like to hang on to old pieces of water hose, because you never know. That one served its purpose. Time to let go. Some of these boards, they are just rotten and they just need to go. Like I said, this trailer has kind of just been catching trash for a while. Uh-oh, can't let these old porcelain insulators go to the trash pile. Not that I ever use these, because I don't. And yes, I do have a pair of wire cutters. I just didn't grab them. These needle nose pliers were close, easy to grab. All right, let's see if we can't get this wire free from this old post now. You know, one of the things about this time of year is that, I don't know, maybe it lends itself to these kinds of projects a little bit better than the summertime. In the summertime, you're usually busy doing other things, not to mention it's hot, and there's wasps and snakes and that kind of stuff that likes to live in old junk piles. But even though I dislike the cold immensely, I am glad when it allows me to get back to some of these kinds of things. Try to get some of these projects that have been lingering, get them done. This is a tangled mess. Even though there are folks out there that may act as if electric fencing is a recent development, it's not. My grandfather used electric fence. My dad used electric fence. And actually my grandfather has been gone for, I guess, 30 years now. Dad's been gone for 21. What's changed over the last handful of years is that energizers have just gotten better than they used to be. Quality, that kind of stuff. And actually this right here, I don't know if this is something that my dad used, my brother used. I doubt it was something Grandpa had. It could have been. But that's what this was, to divide pasture out here. This was just leaning up against the fence. And ended up on the old trailer here. But this will go in the scrap pile to be recycled. So I guess to kind of give you an idea as to what the trailer looked like here, this was one of the sidewalls. Ouch. It's stuck back there. But this was one of the sidewalls. They sat obviously on the side of the trailer. There was a piece of galvanized tin like this right here laying on the trailer. On the bottom, kind of went around, had this poultry chicken wire up at the top. At the back were nest boxes and the door that opened up so that you could get the eggs out. It was all made out of 2x lumber here. All right, now that I scratched my hand, it's time to grab some gloves. This piece of plywood. It needs to go. Hey, a brick. Huh, wonder where that came from. Whoops. Not sure what that was. Other than just a bad throw. Oh my goodness. A pig literally just walked up here and did its business. Ugh. Pungent. Pungent aroma. Yeah, thanks a lot. That was gross. And if you're like me, you'll discover as you go along, you will stop keeping as much stuff as you did. In the beginning, you start just tossing more and more stuff. So I guess if you're like me, it kind of helps to just get on a roll. All right, strength test. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Blade on here is short, but probably good enough for what I'm doing. Oh man, blade broke. Let's see if I have another one. I'm pretty sure that I do have another blade. The question is just where did I put it so that I wouldn't lose it? And as much as I'd like to be one of those people that, you know, has a place for everything, I'm not. I'm nearly 40 years old. And at this point, if I don't keep my stuff organized, I don't think that it is probably gonna start now. Anyway. Oh. All right. New plan. So now, I'm not going to tell you that you've got to be able to do this kind of stuff in order to be profitable as a farmer. You know, I enjoy this. I like making stuff. I like building stuff. I like trying to take junk and make something useful out of it. To me, it's like a challenge, you know. But like I said, I'm not saying that you have to be able to do this if you want to be profitable as a farmer, but it sure helps. If you can learn just some basic skills on how to make boards hold together, you know, how to properly you know, frame building projects, how to build simple things, you know, how to use angles, those kind of things to your advantage in order to give whatever it is you're building strength, then it is something that will definitely serve you well Now, naturally, if you don't have those skills and you're trying to learn, you don't want to start with some large project, something that could potentially hurt you. Of course, that's not a good idea at all. But whenever it comes to small little things, figuring out how to save money, building a hog house, for instance, doesn't take a whole lot of skill. Using old barrels to make hog waterers or feed bunks, whatever it is that you need, these kinds of skills will definitely serve you well, and could potentially save you lots of money from buying, these, well, frankly, overpriced products that you see at a lot of farm stores that are actually marketed toward folks who are, just starting out, trying to figure out how to get by, how to make money, and then they say, well, there's no money, you can't make any money farming. You can't make any money doing this kind of thing. Well, if you're buying everything at retail, you're buying a lot of what different folks are selling, then yeah, you're probably not gonna make any money because you're giving it all to them. It's kind of funny how you forget things that happen over time. But this right here, this is where something, I can't tell you what it was, tried to get into my chicken trailer one night. Nothing ever did get in there. Never lost any chickens from something climbing up in there with them. Oh, failed the strength test. All right, it's the next day, and I have all my lumber separated out here, so you can kind of see what I ended up with. So we ended up with 6 2x4s that are mostly useful. 2x2 pieces, a couple 2x6 pieces, more 2x2 pieces, some more 2x4 odds and ends there, and a couple 4x4 pieces that are, I don't know, 6 foot long or so. So in the grand scheme of things, there's really not a lot of material here, and since there's really not a lot of material, well, I guess sometimes not a lot of material can mean a lot of money, but in this case, it's really not a lot of money laying here that saved me. But I'll tell you what is going to save me money. And that's how I'm going to put this material to use. So the plan is to take the lumber that I got out of that old trailer and at least one of these barrels and cut it down to where I can make a mineral feeder and a stand for the mineral feeder that will, keep wind and rain, hopefully, out of our salt and mineral for our cattle and goats and donkeys, I guess, as well. Of course, I'm not going to do that in this video. That's going to be later on down the road. The point of this video is that the more you can do using your own know-how and your own skill, the more money it's going to save you in the long run. And if you're like me, you are a small-scale operation, you are trying to operate with as little expense as possible. You're trying to keep all of your inputs down. That way you can actually make a little bit of money at the end of the year. Of course, as I said before, it's definitely not a requirement that you have these skills if you're a small-scale farmer, but it definitely helps. And if you want to see more of my money-saving farm DIY projects,